All right, here we are.
Episode 5.
Five.
Man.
Yep.
It's going to be a great one.
Yeah,
I can just
I
tell.
hope so. I hope so.
After take 17.
Yeah,
no,
is,
not really.
Yeah. It happens. It happens.
So it was a good week for you?
It was. Yeah, it's been a good week so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, very short. Today's Tuesday, so who knows?
Well, all right.
A week ago.
And Monday night, you did open mic?
Yep, I did. I went and did open mic night, so it was okay.
And your wife and your daughter went?
My wife went. She showed up, and
okay.
Yep, so there was only there was less than 10 people there, so it's
she
always good that.
Was she the loudest one to applaud and whistle? And
sure, yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
She was the only person
we're not allowed to
applaud and whistle. But no, it was good, and I got my shot to prove that you're wrong every week. So I took a picture to make sure, and I posted it.
What are you talking about? What was I wrong?
All the people that follow us a little bit. I mean, like the 5 people out there now, but I think we might have 5 followers.
What was this photograph?
It was of me up there playing. My wife took it, and it clearly says O'Nellie's stage. So it's
O'Neill's.
O'Nellie's.
O'Neill's stage.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
they get a plug every week. I mean, that's pretty good. I should,
We can agree to disagree.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm away here today. I got my oil changed.
Did you?
And it's costing me. It's like $70 with a coupon.
Yeah, that's
and
ridiculous.
I'm thinking,
you're thinking it's time to buy
I wish
a Tesla.
they would invent a car that you didn't have to change oil.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a Tesla, right? I don't have any oil changes, so I got to give a plug. Hey, you know what? This is a test. This well,
we're gonna have an episode
really
or 2 or 3 about
maybe eventually Tesla. Tesla doesn't sponsor really people, but yeah, no. I mean, I have 2 Teslas, and those people know I work for Tesla. So yeah, but no, yeah. There's no oil change, nothing. We just
there's still a motor. There's still you got to lubricate something.
It's electric motor. You just hop in and go. Just enjoy it. And that's the thing. That's why I keep telling people there's no maintenance to do. You change your tires, you change your brakes.
You just said no maintenance, and then you mentioned 2 things that require maintenance.
Well, that's the standard wear and tear items right there.
Oh, I see.
Windshield wipers. Fill up your windshield wiper fluid for the most part. I mean, that's what it's been for us.
But I didn't pay $200,000 to get into the car.
You can get them for like $35,000, I think. Try the cheapest one. It's the standard. It's the same cost as a Honda or a Toyota.
And you really still feel comfortable driving it you're not driving. You're just sitting there.
Yeah, I just let it drive everywhere I go. My car drives 99% of the time on its own. I mean, I get it. I get in it. I drive out of and hit autopilot, and off it goes, all the way to the destination.
No, I
love
can't.
Love it. It's the future. It's the future. So
when I was in Dallas last week, I saw a Warble Wobble Waymo. I saw one of these taxi cabs.
As a Waymo, yep. Waymo.
I'd never go. Is that a Tesla?
No. That's a whole nother. That's Google. They got their Waymo.
Oh, and that's better than a Tesla?
No, not even close.
Oh,
not
my
even close,
goodness.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
And pickleball out in your courtyard tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be doing pickleball. We'll be doing it out in the cul-de-sac out there. We got some people coming over. It'll be hot, but it'll be fun.
I'm the backstop for some of your shots, because at your court there's no backstop. You got to go chase it down the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, we have 100 balls. We just use 100 balls and we put them in our pocket and we just let them go and then we go pick them. You know that.
And then you go pick them up. Yeah, but lately you've been aiming at me.
I have not been aiming at you.
Yes, you've been aiming at me.
No, you have this tendency to want to stand right there on the line in the corner.
Nope.
And when I try to hit the ball, if I want to do a nice curve and drop it in, you're just in the way.
No, I am not anywhere near the line, and you come with this obscure rule that if you hit me, you get the point.
No, that's not
so you're just trying to get a free point.
That's a very well-known rule if you're there. And I'm not trying to body bag you is what they call it, right? Where they intentionally smack you with it.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, body bag
somebody.
You're
trying to take me down.
But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to serve it. But you're just
said you were trying to do it.
If I'm serving across the court and you're just in the way and it almost hits you, it's your own fault. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I was like, let me try the serve. I like curving it in, and if it goes by you.
He's not that good, people.
Well, I'm not that good. I know I'm not that good, but I was trying. That's
why it almost hits me.
I was trying to work on it, and so I was trying to serve it around.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we're up 8-1 anyways. So, if I miss, I miss. It's okay.
I had to back up for my life several times.
What was the score of that match? Do you remember?
Well, I think we won because you kept getting
No,
out,
you absolutely did not win.
All right.
You guys were way down.
All right, it's only Tuesday, but are you got big plans for the weekend?
This weekend, no, we don't have anything really
No?
going on. How about you? What do you got going? What's been going on with you? Yeah, you're asking me.
We're planning a big family. There's how many of us is there? There's now like 16 of us.
This is the Lewises?
The Lewis side. My 4 kids are all married. We got 6 grands, another one on the way. And we're going to Put-in Bay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you got your hat there.
Got the hat.
The Put-in Bay hat.
That's right.
Oh, I like Put-in Bay.
Great place.
I've only been there a couple times.
There's another name for Put-in Bay.
What's that?
You don't know?
No.
South Bass Island.
Oh, is that what it's called? South Bass Island?
It's South Bass Island.
Oh, so the actual island is South Bass Island.
Yes, and then above it is Middle Bass. And can you guess what's above that?
North Bass.
Yes, very good.
It took me a minute to process that, to be honest with you.
That's right. And so we're renting 3 cabins and getting a couple golf carts. And
oh, that sounds fun.
I called the police department of Put-in Bay, and I said,
hey, the Rowdy Lewises are coming. I just need to be on the lookout. They're like,
you have to ask
special permission.
Talk to me about car seats, golf carts, and little people.
Oh, what'd they say?
And they said, well, we do have the clips in every street legal golf cart that you could put your car seat in. I said, yeah, but I mean, kids are in car seats these days till they're like 13.
Yeah.
And
my daughter was in it until she was like 13. Lauren was. Emily's not, right?
Yeah,
our first daughter.
Well, your baby of 4, yeah.
Yeah. That's a running joke in our family.
Really? I mean, how seriously do you take this? We don't take it that seriously. I'm talking to a police officer. And
now you're busting them out. Now they're going to have to take it serious.
I said,
not that anybody listens to this.
What do you mean, Annie? And he said, well, if we see you like holding your kid with your arm around him on a golf
they're not
going
to say anything.
We're not going to mess with you.
No. So I thought you were asking if it had it so that way because you wanted to do it. You were asking because do they enforce it?
I wanted to know, am I going to get thrown in the Put-in-Bay jail?
Now you put them on the spot.
And the guy said,
they're going to leave. They're going to leave.
He had every opportunity to say, yeah, we take this seriously. Yeah, you're going to get a fine.
Well, you probably ruined it for everybody else now. Now they're going to be.
No, you're going to put, I mean, we got babies. We got 1-year-olds.
Yeah, well, be careful.
Just put them on my lap.
The old school.
Put them on my lap. And the 3-year-olds, you're driving.
Yeah, that's the way I was when I was a kid, right? In the car. I mean, I was driving real cars, right? You get put on the lap.
You were driving real cars.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember being like, I mean, we had that episode last week, but I can remember, I mean, very young, being put, on a lap and allowed to kind of steer. Now, again, I'm sure Grandpa or whoever's doing the thing.
He's also got something.
But I also remember shifting the gears, too. So my dad would hit the clutch in, and then I would do the shifting.
Yeah.
I did it from. You were talking about that with Lorrie, how she would shift from the one side, and, right?
And she never learned how to shift with the right hand.
With the right,
she learned how to shift with the left hand.
She shifted the wrong side.
In the passenger seat. So anyway, we're leaving. Yes, we're leaving Sunday, and hopefully we don't get kicked off the island. And
yeah, they probably will. I think they're like they got a sign no Lewises. Be on the lookout. Like when they see you get on the ferry, they're like Lewises are in town.
You're Lewis,
and you're like, why? And you're like, why is that?
Why is that? Because Jeremy Lewis has been there a time or two.
Not me. It's because
your
Ryan, Brian, Jason.
Come on.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're gonna like that. They know.
Yes.
They're good.
Well,
they have fun. They have fun up there. So
we're looking forward to it. They have a butterfly house.
Oh, really? So you go in? It's like
it costs $25 to go in and have butterflies land on you. I don't think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's a lot. That seems everything always seems almost twice as much what I would expect, right? I would say like, how much would you pay? And if you told me $12.50, right? So or whatever, I would be like, that's still a lot in my mind. And then you say that you just said no, $25, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, what in the world?
Well, actually, we'll probably get there, and I've exagenerated it. And it's probably only $12.50, but I don't know.
Okay.
It just seems outrageous.
Oh, so you didn't give the right price.
You go into this big greenhouse, and they've got a bunch of butterflies.
I fell for your exaggeration.
Lewising, as we call it.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, let's get in the DeLorean. Welcome to the podcast, by the way.
Welcome. A most unpredictable
Jeremy Lewis, and I'm asking the questions. Terry Lewis.
Terry Lewis, and Yeah, and so A Most Unpredictable Life, we got the name comes from my senior year in 1992 when I was selected as a senior superlative at the end when I graduated as most unpredictable. So, hey, it seemed like a pretty good name to take from. So thank you to all the class of 1992 in the Hillsdale community. I appreciate that because you gave me something to do here.
Yeah, you have lived it out well. It's unpredictable. And this episode's kind of unpredictable, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, so we're going to get in the DeLorean. We've been doing like 1 year or 2 years at a time.
Yep.
And what year are we going back to in the life of Jeremy Lewis?
Yeah, so we're going back to 2001. We're going forward from last week. So the DeLorean is shooting forward from 1979. We're going all the way up to 2001.
And so much happened in that year. You're really making this a two-parter.
Yeah, I mean, 2000. It's just going to work out that way. There's going to be years that are packed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 2001 is one of those years where, as I started laying it out and talking to some of my buddies from 2001, I'm like, man, there's a lot in here.
Yeah.
And so we can't do it all in one episode.
So episode 1's we're going to do January through August, and everybody knows what happened in the last quarter of 2001. We'll do another episode, and we'll talk a lot about that.
We'll go into that. And this is a new era. So we've broken. My life we've kind of broken into 4 eras.
Okay.
And the first era is my childhood. And then the second era is college and early Army. And then the third era is wartime, basically. So this is the beginning of that third era. This is the first episode.
Okay.
If I could break it out on things as different eras within it. And then the fourth era will be Tesla. So this is the first episode, basically, of the war era, which starts off. But we're not starting with war today.
Thankfully, yes, thankfully. Right. Okay, so it's 2001, and sometimes we talk about what's happening in American culture in 2001.
Yeah.
And you did a little research to remind yourself. What were some of the bands and movies and hot topics?
Yeah, I guess, and I always expect, because you have the notes, and I always forget, and I try to pull it up on the screen. It was funny, like, one of the things I noticed was Nickelback was big, right?
Nickelback.
So, yeah, Nickelback.
Why do I associate Nickelback with Superman?
Oh, because that's their
theme song?
Yeah, that one song. Yeah, the themes. Yeah, is that Superman or Spider-Man? Again, we're obviously the worst at movie reference and music reference.
Yes, but I don't know.
That's the one song. I can hear it now in my head, but I can't. I'm not gonna. I don't know the name of the song.
Maybe Lois and Clark or something.
We need those. No. It's in the one movie. But Nickelback. It's so funny. We were talking about it last night because a guy at open mic night played Nickelback.
Okay.
He played "This Is How You Remind Me," I think.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to try to sing. That would be bad on air. But and so we're like, and then me and the Tom guy, we started talking about how like, oh, he's playing Nickelback, which is great. And I guess Nickelback's having a resurgence because they are literally, I don't know the statistics, but they possibly were the greatest band ever in terms of record sales.
The greatest band. It's so more records than the Beatles.
I'll have to look this up, but they sold a lot of.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I just know they broke a lot of records.
Okay,
and it was wild.
Oh yeah, they probably just broke a lot of records.
Yeah. They broke a ton of records. Did so well, and them and Creed, but Nickelback did better. And then there was this big there's always this what do you call it, counterculture all of a sudden everybody was like just hated if you said anything about Nickelback, people were like, oh, I hate Nickelback. And even though they were successful. They were so successful. And then so this is the beginning, I think, of Nickelback's rise is in 2001.
Oh, okay. All
right. They had great songs, but last night the guy played it, sounded good. And I guess now they came out with a documentary and they're real popular now. So, that's the beginning and I like Nickelback. I mean, there were some really good songs, So.
I don't really remember a lot from music then. I remember the movie. I remember
Well, what songs do you remember on here? Do you remember any of these songs? No?
Beautiful Day, U2, maybe?
Okay, so you were a U2 kind of person.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Uh-huh.
Train, Drops of Jupiter. Hey. That's
I guess I don't remember.
Yep, there goes my singing.
If that's what they sounded like,
This is why you don't come to open mic.
No. But I do remember the movies.
In here. You remember that? Is that eat something about fried chicken song too? My wife doesn't like that. One of those songs has drops like rain. Something like fried chicken like in there, and like my wife's like, this is not a.
This is a fried chicken song.
Yeah.
No. Yes. No. Well, I remember Fellowship of the Rings. I remember the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, yeah, those were great.
And my oldest son was probably 13, 14 at this point. And we had to go back then. I don't know if they still do this, but we had to go to the midnight showing. It was going to be released on a certain day.
On Thursdays. They do that now.
And then you go there at midnight because it's now official opening day.
They might have, on Thursday night, a lot of times they release them on Fridays, opening day on a lot of these big movies.
Yeah.
And I think now they have some of them on Thursday where they'll do an early showing at like 10. But it used to be, I know what you're talking about.
Midnight, and you come in costume.
Oh, wow.
And you'd wait in line, and they would have the cinema staff would dress up and hand out candy and stuff.
And so you showed up, and they were like, oh, it's Frodo Baggins.
Yes, well, my children did. I was in charge of buying wings at 10 o'clock.
Or you're more of a Bilbo kind of guy, aren't you?
I am a Bilbo
You
kind
could go
of guy.
as Bilbo as Halloween.
No, I was thinking more like the wizard. What was his name? Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Yes, yeah. Well,
I think you're a Bilbo and Yoda.
I'm a Bilbo. Yeah, okay.
What, you don't like being called a hobbit?
No.
No.
Bilbo was afraid, and he wanted...
No. Bilbo wasn't afraid. Bilbo did a lot.
Bilbo Baggins. He was the one that always was sad that he gave it up.
He was the original Hobbit. Well, they all go through that. I think that's just the way things work in life, right?
Yes.
You have I'm not saying you're character-wise. I was just
That's
maybe.
Right. Were you into the Fast and Furious movies?
I never
seen one.
I never got into any of the Fast and Furious movies.
No, I didn't either. I assume they're about cars that are fast and furious.
And they are huge, and I just never did. Yeah, just didn't.
But I will tell you that I had young kids then. Shrek, Monsters. I've watched those movies a dozen times.
Oh, great movies.
And the music in them, I just loved them.
Yeah, there's a new Shrek coming out, I guess, too.
No, Mike Myers?
Yeah, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I saw it on.
I love it.
Yeah.
But there is a movie. Ocean's 11 came out in 2001.
Oh yeah,
and I probably have watched that movie. Do you have a favorite Ocean's movie?
Oh, I don't know if I have any favorite one. I love all of them. They were on Ocean's the
11,
original
Ocean's
one.
12, Ocean's 13.
Yeah, I would say 11 just because I liked it was like it was just the first one, and it was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like 13 too, but 12 I don't really much.
Yeah.
And then there's the girl one.
Yeah. What was that one called?
Ocean's 8.
Oh, Ocean's 8. Yeah.
It only takes 8 of
I
them.
liked
to do what it took 13 guys to
Well,
do
that's probably
before.
true. That's a true statement.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
They're more focused and more task oriented usually.
Yes.
They don't have all the shenanigans that all the Ocean 11 guys would have had.
Now, were you a video game guy?
Halo
and all those?
I played a lot of video games back. The games were different then, right? Like the consoles, you had the Nintendo side and then you had the PC side. At that time, we didn't have any console. We weren't console people within our house, but we did have a video game, and I will go into a story about that. I think it should be in the notes in there. If it's not, we'll make sure. It has to do with a mouse, and during one of my roommates and getting frustrated with one of the video games. But we used to play Sims. We had a Sims. I think
Sims.
I think we would take turns, like in our and we'll get into this time period. I had two roommates, so there's 3 of us, and I believe we played Sims, and we'd all play on the same account and kind of like build it together and stuff. And there were a couple other games that we played.
Do you remember Roller Coaster Tycoon? No.
I do remember. I didn't play Roller Coaster Tycoon a lot. I played SimCity, but I never played. You played Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Well, that was a big one, and my son would always. He figured out how he could build a roller coaster that you couldn't get off.
Yeah.
And the people would end up vomiting all the time, and yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. I love you, Joe. You've changed for the better. You would let people get off the roller coaster.
Wikipedia launch though. That's interesting. That's you think somebody would have for all those people that were out there selling the Encyclopedia Britannicas, that was a bad day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Funk and Wagner. So
the people not knock on your door and they're like, "Hey."
So
I'm here.
Wikipedia would be before Google?
No. Google came out in like 1997,
Didn't you search
98.
for things on Google?
You did, but it didn't have like the encyclopedia style layout of all the stuff. So yeah, because I started getting on Google when I was in Germany, stationed in Germany in like 98. A guy named Patrick Donahue. Oh, I always say I'm not gonna say last names, but I think he was the one who was like, "Hey, you got to try this search engine Google." And
all right,
but that was in 98, I think. So, yeah. So Google was well before Wikipedia, but Wikipedia wasn't too far behind, and that's wild because everything's Wikipedia now, right? That's your encyclopedia, which was a great move.
Everything is Wikipedia.
Yeah, if you're gonna look up something and you want to know, like Wikipedia is like the first thing, like say we wanted to know about.
You mean if you Googled, it would be Wiki's results?
If we Google, say, Shure microphone or Shure company, right? Probably the second or even the first entry. First entry will probably be the place to buy this or something.
Yes.
I'm probably picking the wrong topic, but and then the next one usually will be a Wikipedia entry, and you just click on it, and it's the encyclopedia entry, right?
I didn't know any of these things.
You use Wikipedia probably all the time.
I never go to Wikipedia.
No. You just Google, and then usually the Wikipedia entry.
I go to Copilot, and you go to Douglas or something.
I use Claude. I'm a big Claude guy.
Claude guy. Okay.
Yeah.
2001. How old are you?
So let's see. I should be able to do the math really fast. So I'm like 27 years old.
27
years old is, yep. And I'm stationed. So just so you know, I at this point, we're fast forwarding so much, but
yeah.
I've graduated from college
with
my engineering degree, and I got commissioned as a lieutenant in the Army, and now I am stationed at Hunter Army. Well, technically, at the beginning of 2001, what I get stationed at is I get stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia. So I came out of the advanced course in 2000, and in 2001, January, I'm arriving and getting assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, the home of the 3rd Infantry Division, Rock of the Marne.
Man,
yeah,
there's so much there already.
I wouldn't give a bean to be a fancy-pantsed Marine. I'd rather be a dog-faced soldier like I am.
Oh my goodness!
Anyways, we sing that song every morning. So every morning at 6:30, when you
sounds like you're kind of jealous of the Marine Corps.
No, not even close.
Not even close.
No, we're very proud to be. I'm very proud to be a dog-faced soldier and part of the 3rd Infantry Division. And so, yeah, every morning at 6:30, you have to all line up in formation, and the cannon goes off, right? So cannon goes off. We all go to attention. We salute the flag, and they do reveille. And so, that's the horn going off, and everybody stands their attention. And then right after that, so we're all at attention. Right after reveille, then everybody across the whole post. So we have speakers everywhere. That's not only on Fort Stewart. That's Fort Stewart and Hunter, which is about 35 minutes away in Savannah, Georgia. So this all happened in 2 different locations. Actually, they have another brigade at Fort Benning, so it's going off there too at Fort Benning. Multiple places. You have the cannon go off, and then you have the music start, and we sing the Dog-Faced Soldier song. And that's, I wouldn't give a bean.
All right, wait. Take me back now. So you went to Indiana, and then
Indiana.
Illinois Tech.
Yeah, Illinois Tech, yeah.
And then when you finish college, there's a commencement.
Yep.
And then there's a commissioning.
Yep.
There on campus?
Yep, that's on campus right there. Yep, same day.
And there was 100 and some of you.
We actually technically got commissioned. There was a huge parade. We do a huge parade. Now that's a whole nother episode, I guess. But
all right.
There's a parade, and then we do all the Army officers get commissioned, all the Navy, all the Air Force. We all got commissioned.
Okay.
So that total was probably over 100, I bet.
And commissioning means now you're an Army officer.
I'm an Army officer, yep.
And you have a rank.
And I was 2nd lieutenant then, yep, back then.
That's your first. That's the first rank you get as 2nd lieutenant. And then you're commissioned to some base.
You're assigned.
You're assigned to a base.
Yep. So you go off to school, and so at this point in my career, I have been through my first assignment, went to school twice, and now I'm assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, and at this point I'm a captain. I'm a captain in the Army.
You're a captain in the Army.
Yeah.
So you start as a second.
Then you go 1st lieutenant.
First lieutenant, while you're getting additional training.
Well,
advanced
you're
training.
working and you're doing your assignment. Right before you make captain usually, but I was a first lieutenant when I went. You go to a captain's school,
Okay.
a captain's course, and then they change the name all the time. It might still be captain's career course, and then from there after you graduate, that's me leaving the captain's career course, and this is my first assignment as a captain.
And it's where you said in
My
Georgia.
career course, yeah. Well, I'm being assigned to Georgia, Fort Stewart, Georgia,
Fort Stewart, Georgia,
which is right outside of Savannah, Georgia, in Hinesville, Georgia.
yeah. And you show up, and you have somebody you report to, and
Yeah, you just show up and
you got papers.
yeah,
or
you
whatever?
walk in. You're like, hey, my name's Captain Lewis. I'm here to sign in for my assignment. So I walked in, signed in, and then they're like, yeah, and then hey, we got in processing and school of standards. I think maybe I don't know if they call that there, but and so that's like a 1 to 2 week. I think it was 1 week, maybe it was 2 weeks in processing, and kind of like gives you the lay of the land and all this stuff, and then allows you time to go find a place to live.
Oh, you don't have barracks.
I didn't have a place to live or anything, no.
So tell me about where you live. How did you meet somebody, or what went down? How did you?
Yeah, so that one there, so the real story, which I didn't put in the notes, but the real story was is to be completely honest, is my ex-girlfriend had already started living there. So she gave me a place to stay to start off, but in my first day,
I thought we weren't talking about
yeah,
exes.
I know, right? But the way you framed that question,
Don't blame me.
I've got to be
I
complete.
just said it. Tell me about your housing
That's my
situation.
problem is honesty. I have to be honest. So
No,
yeah,
you don't.
my
All right,
housing
go ahead.
my housing situation was that when I first arrived, my ex-girlfriend was already stationed there. And so I was able to just rather get a hotel or anything like that. She allowed me to crash there. But in my first week of during the school,
Okay.
what's it called? Chris, I was just going to school, and the captain next to me, I'm just talking with him, and he's
Yeah.
like, and I didn't know him at all, and we're just talking. He's like, hey, I'm buying a house. You need a place to live? And I'm like, well, yeah, by the way, I do need a place to live actually. And he's like, hey, I'll rent you a room. And I'm like, cool, all right. So
So you're not on base. You're off base.
well, we're on. Oh, for living, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Living, we lived off base. Yeah.
And in the town of
In the town of, well, in that
Savannah?
case,
No.
his house was, I think, technically Richmond Hill. I think, or
Okay.
no, it wasn't Richmond Hill. It was Savannah.
Yeah.
Yep, it was Savannah. It was on the outskirts of Savannah. Yep.
Okay. And so he's buying the house.
He's buying a house.
Tell
yep.
me about the house.
Yeah, so he bought a house. It was on the outskirts of Savannah, and he's a huge Georgia Bulldog fan.
All right.
So, I just rented one room. It was like the bonus room above the garage
All right.
from him. So now I've got to move on, which, think about it. I had an apartment in Germany, so I had apartments worth of stuff coming in, and I move it in all into one. It was a pretty big room, but I move it in there. But he's a Georgia guy, so he's got red carpet, red everything.
my.
He's got the Georgia Bulldog everywhere, which was great. I mean, Chris is like one of those, you would say, up here we call him country bumpkin kind of guys. I
Yeah.
don't know what they call him down in
But he's the same
Georgia.
as you. He just finished school.
Yep.
And he buys a house.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
How's he
he was.
got the money to do this?
He was focused. He was focused.
He was focused.
He had a plan.
Yes.
He's bona fide.
He's bona fide. There's a whole other episode.
Yeah, they end up doing a whole article on Chris, in the Akron Beacon Journal, I think, or the Cleveland Plain Dealer, like
Yeah.
why he was in Iraq. So like, there's an article out there somewhere about Chris Carter. You can look it up. I mean, I
All
should,
right.
that talks about him and his journey while he was in OIF1.
right.
So
who was the boss? Who was the crew you worked with? You had to make all new
yeah,
friends,
so I got
right?
assigned. Yeah, I got assigned to 87. So I got in there and got my first unit, and my boss, Major Fly.
Major Fly.
Yep. He was a really cool dude. I like Major
Sounds
Fly.
like somebody that would flying a plane. He'd be in the air force.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, he was.
Major Fly.
Yeah, Major Fly. I think he's that guy though. When he first looks at you, he kind of looks at you and gives you like that little squint. I mean, he wasn't a very tall guy, but he was very friendly, right? But his first like impression always is kind of like gives you that little squint, like looking you over,
All
Like,
right.
I'm not sure about you in a way. But at the same time, very quickly, he smiles, and then you feel much better. And and he was focused, and he was a go-getter.
Now, is
I
this
liked him.
still schooling, or are you assigned a bunch of now enlisted people?
No, I was on staff. So I'm a logistics officer.
Okay.
And so my job was I was in the support operations office.
Okay.
So it's my first big staff job as a captain. And my job is our battalion has, I think that's a pretty big battalion. I don't remember the size. It's probably 800 to 1,000 people in the battalion.
Okay.
Probably 6 or 7 companies. I didn't do. I probably should look all this stuff up, but it was right around that. And we provide logistics to the base, and then really technically, if the 3rd Infantry would deploy, they would provide logistics for them. So my job was I'm basically in charge of allocating and planning the assets for the battalion in terms of what they're going to do. So we have a trucking company, we have a water, purification, we have a warehouse, and so how those resources are going to be employed, I'm the guy that makes sure that they get used correctly and plan for them. I don't tell them what to do. I just plan. I'm like the planner and to keep track. I keep track of all the fuel and the water and all the resources and the number of trucks, the maintenance. I wasn't the maintenance guy. That's a whole nother shop that does that. But yeah.
Okay. And you had people you began working with? Did you build a
band
of
brothers? It's so fun. Yeah, well, in that case, I had a guy named Master Sergeant Strickland was one of the
right.
Yep. And he was my NCOIC there, and plenty of other people.
Tell the rest of us who don't know these abbreviations.
Oh, Master Sergeant?
And NCOC?
Oh, yeah, non-commissioned officer in charge. So I'm like the OIC, officer in charge of our shop.
Okay.
And then he's the non-commissioned officer in charge.
Okay.
Of the shop. So yeah, and it's always funny, and he was great. Yeah, I was fortunate to work with him, and he really helped out. But yeah, that was my shop. But then while I was there though, so I'm living with Chris, and one of the lieutenants, he was a lieutenant at the time. He worked down in 226 company. That was a company, and his name was Dan. Lieutenant Dan.
No way.
Yeah, Lieutenant
Dan.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan.
In Savannah,
Georgia, right? What's
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Lieutenant Dan, and he'd come by. So him and I became actually pretty good friends. I'm a captain, but I'm a junior captain. I just just pinned on, and so I kind of affiliate more. And I'm single. Like as you move on as a captain, by the time you're a more senior captain, usually you're married, you have kids, and so forth. But as being a junior captain, I'm single, and I feel more associated with the lieutenants at the time. So so I start hanging out with Dan and stuff like that, and he's got a place in downtown Savannah. So now we're at Fort Stewart. That's like a 40-minute drive, but I am driving from. I decided to live near Savannah, so I am driving 35 minutes every morning to work, anyways, in PT. So, but Dan's downtown, so that's a 45 to 50-minute drive.
All right.
And so, but I'm hanging out with Dan. I'm sleeping on his couch actually a lot of nights because if you go out, like Dan's right downtown, so I can just hang out with Dan and everything and go out. Well, his 2 roommates at the time, because it's a 3-bedroom, they're moving out, and Dan's like, hey, I need a roommate, and so. Next thing you know, like very quickly, so this is like I got there in January, and it might have been March, I don't know, April.
Okay.
I'm moving in with Lieutenant Dan. So Lieutenant Dan, he doesn't go by Lieutenant Dan now, but at the time he was Lieutenant Dan. I call him Big Dan. That's what I refer. Big Dan.
But the other captain didn't mind you leaving?
Well, he had other,
he's not talking to you anymore.
No. He had already. Let's see, we'd already got another roommate in there because he had like a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom apartment. And he had just got there, so it actually worked out because he was meeting new people. Yeah. And so I was like, "Hey, is it all right? I'm gonna. I never signed a lease, I guess, right?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna move down." And he's like, "No, that's great. I got a guy that would like to move in with us." And so I moved down because I wanted to be downtown, and it was great. And when I walked into this house, I walked into it, and I was like, "Wow, you could film the real world here." I was like, "This is a pretty incredible place." So it was pretty cool. And so I moved in.
Lieutenant Dan's house in downtown Savannah.
And his 2 old roommates were moving out, Andy and Grant. And so they're moving out, and I knew them a little bit. Yeah. And then so I moved in, and another guy named Tim, or I call him Timbo, moved in. Okay. And he was in the infantry unit at Fort. He was in one of the infantry.
So Timbo and Lieutenant Dan.
Yep.
And what, like, you all worked at the same base?
Yeah, we all worked at Fort Stewart at the time.
So you went over there and you came back, and then evenings and weekends were
So
you guys getting in trouble?
No, well, we could have probably. I mean, well, there's probably some of that, and I don't know if I have the stories in there or not.
All right.
But yeah, so when I moved into the house, the house, nothing against the crew and Dan that was there, but their whole thing seemed to be like, come home, and then on the weekend or whatever, they would always go out to this place called Deja Groove. It was like they were clubbers, really. They would come home and they would always go to the club. And I was like, I'm not a club guy. Yeah. And I remember talking to Dan. I was like, we're not going to do that. Now I'm a captain and everything, so maybe I'm a little, and I don't know if he remembers the story that way, but I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be going to the club. I'm not a club guy. I said, but what I would like to do is, become my exact words, at least this is the way in my head, and I do remember saying this was, I think we should become regulars at as many little local joints as possible. And when I said regulars, like we should be like the Cheers guys, as many little places as we possibly can. And you know what?
How do you pull that off?
Yeah, Dan was super important. Timbo was like, yeah, that's my scene too. They were all like, yeah, that's who we are.
Yeah.
We're not clubbers going out and trying to pick up ladies.
All right.
We didn't have that game. We were more like, let's just be good guys hanging out, meeting people.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And actually, it was like, it wasn't like we had to do anything. We just had to live together. And then, so yeah, we'd get home and every night we would walk.
So you ate out every night?
Pretty much.
And on Monday nights, you'd go to one place?
I'll be honest with you. I very rarely, other than our cookouts when we would have people over, I very remember like cooking a meal in our place to eat at night. Maybe I grabbed a sandwich or something. I don't know. I think I ate out almost all my meals back then. But we every night we come home and we were all pretty solid workers. So we'd work real hard and then we come home and then we got home. We're like, hey, where are we going? Well, and it depended on the night. So every night there's like a different $5 drafts at Rails or whatever. That was Tuesday night, $5 draft night at the Rails. So like there was a different like happy hour kind of event, but on our way with the way we lived right in downtown Savannah, right on Huntington and right next to Forsyth Park. And that's the one with the big fountain.
Big park.
And so you'd walk right by the park, but then you go down Bull Street, and Bull Street's that's the main road that splits Savannah in half right down the middle.
Okay.
And as we'd walk, the very first place we would come to is a place called Sixpence Pub.
Okay.
And Sixpence is now super. I have a picture of it down.
All right.
On my mantle down there, because it is such an important place to us and my family. So.
Why?
Well, so Sixpence. So every night we would go down there. And is the first place we'd stop, and that's usually where we would stop and eat dinner almost every night. And the waitress, one of the main waitresses there, her name, and she was the hostess waitress. She was like the manager really at the time.
Yeah.
And her name was Sandra. And so Sandra, just so you know, she's still there.
No.
Yep. And I visited Sandra. So when I would travel back to Savannah, say with Tesla, because I helped put in the service center there in Savannah, Georgia. We went on every visit.
Haunts.
We went straight to Sixpence, and I was like, "Hey, where's Sandra?" And there was Sandra. Oh, it was so nice to see her. And that was like 20 years later. Give her a big hug. And so if you're ever in Sixpence, or if you're ever in Savannah, you have to go to Sixpence Pub, and you have to go visit Sandra.
What were some of the
at
other
Sixpence's.
places?
Well, we're moving a little quick because the other side of, Sixpence is just that great. So we go there every night. And we ate there so much that we asked the owners, these two owners, I forgot their names. It's so funny. I don't know the owners' names, but I know. I think one of them's Brian or something. But we were trying to see if we could get on a meal plan. We were legit. We were like, how about we pay you a fixed amount of money?
Genius.
Yeah, and you just let us get a meal.
You just deduct it.
Yeah, you just deduct it, and we just got it. And then they're like, no. And it kind of makes sense to them. They're like, you eat here anyways. So if you're going to eat most of your meals here anyways, why would we do that?
So these guys became your besties.
Oh yeah, and I remember Jessica, I think, was one of the waitresses. I feel so bad. I need to quite a few of the waitresses there. We met them all, but then all the locals. So we would be there. We kind of had our spots at the bar. We'd come in, belly up to the bar, order our food, hang out there, and then we would just meet every night the same. Oh my goodness, I needed to ask Dan. It's too late now, but there was one guy who's from Austria.
Okay.
And so he would be there every single night too, and we became good friends with him. And he would tell us his stories. Another customer. Yeah, we met so many people there that would be regulars and learn their stories. And actually, one of the guys he was pretty quiet and he was interesting, but he would sit and talk with us. But like he was the quieter, more introverted. And then there was this very extroverted bartender.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about her is she had this boyfriend. And I don't know. And anyways, they had a lot of problems. He was not. We'd be like, this guy is no good for you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And anyways, eventually, I'm pretty sure because they disappear. Him and the introverted guy, they end up getting together and got married, I believe. So it was kind of interesting. I was happy for them. I mean, hopefully they're still together.
All right, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Only because I see this in movies like Top Gun. Are you always in uniform?
No.
No one would be able to tell. Maybe a haircut or something.
No, yeah, that's the only way. Yeah, so the rules actually are when you're not supposed to go out in uniform.
Okay.
When you're supposed to come home, change, and then you're not even really supposed to stop in the grocery store and stuff. Now they've really loosened the standards on that, but back in the day, yeah, you weren't supposed to be walking around in your uniform after duty hours. You're always on duty.
Yeah.
But we call them duty hours. So you're always in service to the country.
Okay. So it's a big tourist city. I've been there as a tourist, my wife and I.
Oh yeah.
And we love the place.
Oh, it's so good.
What's the name of everybody has to go there, and there's a long line for a meal.
Oh, well, not anymore, but, Mrs. Wilkes.
Mrs.
Wilkes, yep. That was there in Donna, or what's oh, goodness. Anyways, the one lady, she had her TV show and everything. That was another place. I can't remember her name, but Mrs. Wilkes, yeah, it's on Jones Street.
On Jones Street. And we loved going to the coffee shop on Chippewa Square, the one where they filmed it. It's right across from the bench in Forest Gump.
Oh, yeah. That's right there, that Presbyterian church.
Yeah.
Yep. So I went to that Presbyterian church a couple times.
All right.
But yeah, where the feather comes down and then lands and the bench is right there. I don't remember the name of the coffee. I wasn't a big coffee shop guy.
Well, Kelly and I we'd go there in the morning when we stayed there. And, we loved it. So were there ever any encounters with tourists or anything?
Yeah, so that was the thing about Savannah and the roommates, right? So every night we would walk down, and every night we would hit a place, and we would meet new people all the time.
Yeah.
Some of them were regulars. So again, we're trying to become regulars at all these different spots. Obviously, we were able to pull that off at Sixpence, and then Pinky Masters was another place. That's not far. That's not really the same direction, but you had McDonough's, and then you had Bernie's. So Bernie's we definitely did, and that was right down on River Street. Excuse me, I think it's still called Bernie's. It might be the Oyster Bar.
Yeah.
Very small place, like a shotgun spot, but super people right all over the ceiling. I guess it was sad. I went there more recently, and we had written 212 and our names up there because that was the name of our place. But yeah, so that was karaoke night, and we'd met a lot of people there, became regulars there. Right. So we would try to hit all these spots and become regulars. So you had this
one story of some...
Oh, you're trying...
Of some tourist, and he wanted a cemetery tour or something.
Yeah. So Tim's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna become a tour guide for the haunted tour. Right. So Tim's like, I'm going to do that. So he met the guy because the haunted tour would always start in Savannah, right?
There is a regular haunted tour. Yeah.
Yep. There's haunted tours. And then there's all kinds of tours there, right? You get the carriages. Well, the guy that ran the tour would start right in front of Sixpence every night. So Tim met the guy, befriended him, and he's like, I'm going to become the haunted tour guide. So the guy's like, yeah, I'd love that. It'd be great. So then Tim starts learning all the whole haunted tour stories, right?
Yes.
And then I kind of learned some of it. And there is a story about Sixpence, about if you go into the bathroom and you look into the mirror in the men's restroom, supposedly something happens. It never happened while I was there. And Sandra would say, yeah, she knows. She's like, yeah, I've experienced the ghost there and stuff like that. So we'd start. Well, Tim learned the whole spiel, though. He knew it all. And he probably can still. I don't know if he
did. He ever become an official tour guide?
I think he might have did one or two. Tim would have to correct me.
I
don't remember. It wasn't a routine thing, but because he did it, so we'd be downtown and we'd meet people.
Yeah.
Some of them were, like I said, we'd just tourists because there's so many tourists coming in, and so we'd be like, sometimes we'd be like, man, there's nothing going on, but I'm gonna tell you something. It seemed like every night something would happen, and it would just be a new group. So one night we're out and there's it's kind of like Nashville and probably Vegas a little bit, but much smaller scale. You get a lot of bachelorette parties or women's trips that would come in, all different ages. I can think of all the different stories. But so this one group came in, and it was like 4 girls, ladies, and we're still 27. I bet they were in their 40s or something.
All right.
They're in these super nice fancy gowns, like really nice ball gowns, or not ball because they're not big. They're just sleek, nice gowns. And they're out on the night and they're doing everything. Well, anyways, we meet them, we're talking, and we start talking about, giving them, the tour and stuff and hanging out with them. And then they're like, we need to go to the cemetery. And there's the big cemetery there. And it's known from the movie, The Midnight, what is it? Midnight Garden of Eve or whatever.
Right. I don't remember either.
Yeah, so he's like, we need to go there. So we go there, and we're trying to – they want to get inside the cemetery. Well, there's those pole posts with the little spikes on them. But we're trying to lift them up, and I remember we're trying to toss them over. The one girl's, dress gets caught on the spike, and she's, hanging there. Imagine from the top. And anyways, we finally – as they get them over, I noticed, because I'm usually – and this was a true statement. For the most part, if anybody knows me, they know I drink alcohol, but I don't drink a ton. I just usually drink enough that I keep my wits. I don't like losing my wits.
Right.
And I remember seeing there's a spot right there. There's a crypt or something that connects in the fence. And we just climb over that. So then after the people that had a few more cocktails are trying to climb the spiky fence, they're getting caught. I'm like, there's an easier spot right there. So we hop over that, get inside. Well, we're in there not very long, and we're like, oh no, there's police and stuff. We need to go. So anyways, we take off.
You were going to attempt a seance.
Well, they wanted. That was their thing. They're like, the whole group. They're all like, we need to do a seance in the. And I have no idea how a seance even works, right? Other than what I've seen on the movies.
Yes.
But they wanted to walk through it. We were in there, and they were like, all right. I just, again, being the person that hasn't drank enough, I'm usually the person that also says, hey, this is probably new to. I'm like, I'm on the lookout. So I'm like, hey, let's get out of here. So we get out of there. Well, so But they're enjoying our company. They're older. We're younger military guys and stuff. And, maybe something would happen, we'd maybe. But the funny part of it is, so then the one girl, they're standing there, and I don't know what happens, but Dan's talking to the one girl. And again, she's in a nice dress.
Okay.
And he picks her up. And you're thinking, okay, this is
he picks her up to take her over the fence. No.
We've moved away. Sorry. Yeah, we moved away from there because I'm like, let's get out of here.
Then why is he picking her up?
Well, so
that's part of the story.
Yeah, that's part of the story. We've moved. So in Savannah, Georgia, there's 24 squares.
Yes.
And most of the squares have a fountain in the middle.
Yes.
Right? And we have ran through the fountains a few times. And don't ever run through the Forsyth fountain, though, as people have learned. Because people have tried to run through there and climb and get to the top. That was always the thing. But there's a bunch of those, where the fountain part is, those, you can't see them, but they're metal things. Anyways, this is a whole nother story. But people try to run, and then my roommates, they hit those right at the shins. And it's hits it and then down. And then if they're inebriated, they think, I can keep going to get up and again run. Hit the next one. Smack.
Oh, my.
Shin down into the water. Well, let's get back to that story. So
okay.
I'm like, hey, we got to get out of here. Let's go. So we're walking through the first thing. And I remember the girl saying something about having to go to the bathroom or something. And anyways, Dan starts talking to her. And I, you think it's going to be maybe he's they're going to hug or something. I don't know. But anyways, Dan grabs her from behind. And you're like, okay. And then all of a sudden, he just literally, I don't know what got into him. Just, so she's standing in front of him. He grabbed, and then all of a sudden, he just falls back, and this is intentional though, and he just suplexes her.
Oh my!
Right into the fountain. So here she's in a ball gown. Dan's in normal shirts and a t-shirt. We would dress just like this, shirt, flip flops, because it's so hot in Savannah, and right into the fountain. And she's now just. Whoosh, and her friends, everybody's been drinking, so they're all laughing. However, she comes up out of the water, right? It wasn't a baptism where she's happy and everybody's clapping.
Yeah.
She comes out of the water with the opposite effect.
She's pretty pissed.
Oh, she is angry, furious. Because, she is just looks like a drowned rat, right? Yes. She's got her hair all nice, her makeup, this beautiful dress, and she comes out just drenched, her hair, her makeup, And then she's just in her dress. She's like, this, I forget how much she said the dress cost. And she's like, you probably ruined my dress. Anyways, that ended that night rather than it ending in probably ways they hoped, but it ended the evening pretty quickly, but it was pretty funny.
Oh my goodness.
And I have that story. So.
All right. This is off base. This is relax time. Take me back to the base. When you're in a base,
we call them forts.
Forts.
Or post. It's a post. Fort Stewart, and you say you're on post.
And you're on post.
If you're talking bases, you're talking usually Navy and Air Force.
Oh, forgive
So we got to
me.
make sure. And Coast Guard.
Okay.
But the Army, we call them their forts, and then when you refer to them, you call them a post. That's why it's the PX. The PX is the post exchange.
Okay.
Versus a BX, which is a base exchange, which you have in the Air Force.
Okay.
Post. Sorry.
Do you bond with people? Is these same guys? I mean, are you tight? You referred to once like a wingman.
Yeah, or battle buddies. I call them.
Battle
yeah,
buddies.
The wingman again, Air Force reference.
Oh,
See, you get in the wrong branch.
Let me put it in the notes.
Yeah.
Wingman.
Yeah, let's make sure you get Army versus the the superior of all the military branches.
That's right. Who put wingman on here anyway?
That must have been Claude.
Was you.
Must have been Claude. Claude
and
did
the
that.
first wingman. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically with that, it's we call them your battle buddies. Yeah, your battle buddies. Yeah. But
all right.
But no, yeah, you grow close. I mean, Dan and Tim were in different units. Well, Dan was in the same battalion as me, but in a different company. And then Tim was in an infantry unit there.
Yeah.
And he was an infantry like platoon leader or something.
What do you remember most about that first experience in the military there?
Well, during that time frame, so I was in 87th. We had some really great FTXs. We call them field training exercises and things like that. In Master Sergeant Strickland and that whole crew, that whole shop. Master Sergeant Ashley, he was awesome. We had a Major Fly was great too. I mean, great time. But then while I was there, I don't know. I didn't look. I don't know where we're at in the notes. But what I will say is I was getting selected while I was there. I got select. Oh, you're talking about that?
Yeah.
Sorry, here we are. We're amateurs. We don't know, but
that's right.
I didn't know. Yeah. So why? But yeah, that was a big event. So while I was there, I'd only been there like a month. And all of a sudden, I remember there's a meeting, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to come into this meeting because again, this all has to be pretty secretive."
Yeah.
And I'm in the meeting, and they say, "The President of the United States is coming to Fort Stewart," and I'm like, "Whoa, okay, this is pretty cool, right?"
This has just been an election.
So this is 2001. So he just became president. Yeah, this is George W. Bush, and he just got into office
in January.
In January, and then here it is February, I believe, and he's coming to Fort Stewart. So they, again, this isn't a big announcement. Nobody knows. They don't tell anybody.
Okay.
They just all of a sudden he's going to do this tour, and so I go into this meeting, and they're like, all right, you can't tell anybody because for security purpose and everything, but the president's going to be coming. And I was like thinking when, and he's like next week. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. And then they talked through it, and somewhere in there, I guess I had gathered enough in that month that I was working with Major Fly and trust.
Yes.
And I like that. Major Fly trusted me a lot. I enjoyed working with him. And, basically they said, hey, you're going to be the logistics guy to make sure everything that needs to be taken care of. Work with a DPW, which is the Civilian Director of Public Works people. Okay. Work with them, and then you'll be working with the Secret Service and the ADVON and all those guys to make sure everything they need is going to be set up. And so, it's a good thing about this is it was only a 1 week timeline. Like they're like, he's going to be here in a week. I can't imagine, that's the thing about some of this stuff. If we would have known, like say it was going to be 3 months or 6 months, it would have been 6 months of pain versus just 1 week of pain. But there was a lot to do in a very short period of time. They had to build a stage. And then what you have to do is we had to set up all the line of sight stuff, check, all that, figure out how we're going to block everything, containers, move, and all these things. So, and get tents and stuff set up.
But it's all happening in the fort.
It's all happening on the parade field. Yep. So he's going to come in. He's going to come onto the parade field, fly in, and then from the where he flies in from, get escorted onto at the parade field where we're going to have everything set up. And he's going to talk to all the soldiers and families, and And so then
Was
there
it
were
just Fort Stewart or those other nearby bases come in?
all the nearby bases. So I don't know from when they
Or forts.
when they told us, from the time they told us to when they announced it. There is a period where they announce it and it gets on the news and they let people and all the families know the president of the United States is going to come visit Fort Stewart, Georgia. And then this is the secure, and of course this is pre 9/11. So the security procedures they're high because it's the president, but they're not as high as everything would become post 9/11, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah, the families are allowed to come on, and so yeah, there's bleachers out there, and we got to rope everything off to where the president's going to be, and there's a tent, so when he comes in, where he's going to go, and all that stuff. And I have it somewhere. I've got this little badge that lets everybody know that I'm a, behind the scenes guy that I can go where I kind of need to go. I still had to be. I mean, the Secret Service is pretty serious. They make sure they control you still, even though we're on post. So.
Okay. And because you were behind the scenes, you didn't get to meet him, did you?
No, I did. Well, I don't know if you could say I met him, but I did shake
Okay.
his hand, right? So basically, as he came in, he got to meet like all the people that were part of this as before he goes up on stage. And so, yeah, he came through and, give us the whole like, hey, thank you for all, and I don't know the George Bush voice, but yeah, thank you for all you're doing. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he goes in and then he goes right up onto the podium there. And I remember, I don't know if you can see me. There is another video. I got to shake his hand again because the newscast, I knew exactly where to stand then when he comes off. So they're like, when he comes off the stage, he's going to walk the crowd and shake people. So, and I was right standing in the front. My buddy Tyke, who I mentioned in the notes there, Tyke was one of who would later, he was a lieutenant at the time, and he was working in the S4 shop. He was part of it. So Tyke and I are helping. I say it's just me. It's just not. There's a whole bunch of people involved in this. I just got to be part of it. But Tyke and I are part of setting it up. And I remember Tyke standing there too. And Tyke's actually on the video. He's standing right there in front of like while the president's talking. You can kind of see him there.
Yeah.
And but he comes off and he shakes Tyke's hand. He shakes our hand, and off he goes. And it was
this is like a once in a lifetime. This is
pretty cool. Moment. It just seemed like it was probably the biggest thing, like in terms of things I got to do at this point. Well, I'd already been to Bosnia.
Well, how did it make you feel?
It was cool. It was great. See the president. I still always admire George W. I really liked him as a president.
Right.
And,
wow,
yeah.
I'm sure you've told that story to your kids and to people.
No,
that you've
I haven't
met,
ever.
that you shook the hand of the president of the United States.
Yeah, I haven't really told that story very often.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know why. There's so many different stories. But,
from being in the military, what perspective can you tell us about the responsibility that? I mean, I know you just shook his hand and you only spent a couple hours on site, but the president has a lot of responsibility.
Oh, tons of it. Yeah,
on his.
He's the commander in chief, right? So we think of him as the president, but he also now everybody knows that, right? It wasn't something I think growing up that was talked about, but after I think when we went into 9/11, the whole world, the commander in chief title kind of grew because he is the commander in chief of the military.
And throughout these episodes on the podcast, we're going to hear that you would take on more and more and more responsibility, and he had. As the commander of chief, that's a lot of responsibility on a person's shoulders.
He has all of it. Yeah.
We got to maybe think about that from time to time.
I think it was pretty cool that one of the first things he did was come visit a military installation. You know what I mean? And see the soldiers and meet the families. And
why do you say that's impressive?
No, I just think
that communicate.
Well, the importance and the respect and his care of thinking about what. Everybody with politics, people come up with different things, but I think he genuinely cared for. I think a lot of leaders that they get beat up, but they genuinely care for people and those that serve. I mean, you gotta love people to go out there and serve. And I say serve, and I know I serve, but when I say that, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about not only our military, but people in hospitals, first responders, police officers. I mean, school teachers too, in my mind. And I don't want to take away from other people. I mean, people in the ministry, but people that just give their life to, like, yes, they make money. It is a living.
Yes.
But it's really there. There's this thing inside of them that wants to do things for other people or a greater purpose and for more. I love that. And I think the president recognized that, and he wanted to honor that. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. All right, where are we going to go now? Let's go to what I think is going to be one of the best parts of the episode.
Oh, you're getting right into it. All right.
You meet.
Well, right into it. We're like an hour into the podcast.
You're gonna meet your future wife, Lorrie.
I am. Yep.
Tell me about who's responsible for this, how it went down, what were some of the things that you remember well and mistakes you made. Go for it.
Well, I didn't make any mistakes. It was all worked out well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, but
I mean, go ahead.
no, yeah. So before I'd moved to Savannah, I was still in school at that school in Virginia, and I'd come home at Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I remember, it's interesting. I should have met Lorrie. I talked to Lorrie one year in January or February of 2000 over Yahoo Messenger. My friend Ben,
okay,
he was with his girlfriend, and they were setting up. They'd never heard of the Yahoo Voice.
Okay,
nobody really did back in 2000. It wasn't a big thing, but she had it. Lorrie, I guess, had it for some reason, and I was setting it up in his girlfriend's computer, and I was like, "Oh, we should test it out." And she's like, "Oh, that girl has it," and I clicked on it. Well, that girl that I talked to was like, "Hey, this is Jeremy." I'm talking through a microphone, and Lorrie's at her home or somewhere, and that person I talked to was Lorrie. And then, we were supposed to meet a couple of times. We were supposed to go to a concert, and she wasn't able to go throughout the year. And then she was supposed to go to Thanksgiving with Ben, and I went to Ben's family, and she was supposed to be.
Ben wanted you to meet her.
I don't know if that's the case.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that. But it was just there was opportunities for us to meet, right? Because there was groups all hanging out, and we never met. And then what happened is they gave me her number and said, "Hey, Lorrie's going to be moving to Savannah. You should give her a call when you get down there because two people, just mutual friends, you'll know each other." And she's graduating from Ohio State, and she got she's going to go get an internship with the state of Georgia as a sea turtle technician, which is pretty awesome and cool, right? So she gets down there in February. Her aunt her aunt currently still lives in Savannah. So her aunt has been living there since the 80s, and her aunt's a flautist or a flute player in the Savannah Symphony at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yep, and great symphony, and she's very talented. And so I get the number. I move there in January. Lorrie's there too. I don't know this, or in February, probably when the president was getting there. And I don't call her though. So I just, I'm getting my life going.
So Ben and his girlfriend, they've told Lorrie, they've given you her number.
That I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe not. I don't know if
but I've
call her. I've never asked her that question, but yeah,
I don't. Get her up here.
Yeah, I don't. I don't call her. But then July comes, and I've been living a good life, right? I mean, I'm in a beautiful townhome in downtown Savannah.
You met the president of the United States.
Met the president. I do have a girlfriend, which we said we were going to bring up and stuff in podcasts, but but we break up on July 4th weekend, and anyways, but Ben calls me that the following week or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to come down and visit you in Savannah," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well that'd be pretty cool," and and he's like, "Yeah, Lorrie's down there. We should all get together," and I'm like, "Oh, I haven't called Lorrie yet. I haven't even met this girl," so. I remember, and so that's the cool thing about this podcast right now. It'll probably be released either close to or shortly after our 25th anniversary of meeting each other.
Wow.
And so we could have done this podcast on 9/11 or in September, or to me it was the 25th anniversary of meeting my wife.
My goodness.
So 25 years ago this week basically.
Yes.
Is when I meet my wife. So I I got to call her, and so.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not. No, not at all. I'm just so I'm at work. I remember I must have got off the phone with Ben, and that's when I find this, and I'm like, oh, I got to call her. And I remember I pick up the phone. I'm at work, and I call the number I had. And interesting, it's so weird to think how this synced up because it's so hard. I think of the past, how hard it is to, there's no cell phones. There's no where people, and anyways, I call the number. Lorrie picks up, and very serendipitous. This all works out in a way. And I'm like, "Hey, this is Jeremy." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then I'm like, "It's Ben Rosser's friend." And she's like, "Oh, hi," And so maybe she knew a little bit about me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, "Yeah, hey, just want to let you know Ben Rosser's coming down to visit. And, I should get together. We should get together and meet because I've never met you." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, she's like, "When do you want to meet?" And I said, "Well, how about tonight?" And she's like, "Well, okay."
My goodness, that's quick.
Yeah, and and she's like, "Cool." And so, it's just like, well, we're just gonna meet and hang. I'm just gonna meet you. I don't know you. I mean, it's not like there's anything here.
Yeah.
And so I hang up the phone, and I remember I hang up the phone, and the one female master sergeant in my shop, she just looks over at me, and she goes, "Sir, you just picked that girl up." And I was like, "No, I didn't pick that girl up." She's like, "I heard the whole conversation. You just picked that girl." I'm like thinking, I mean, anybody knows me. I don't pick girls out. I don't know if I've ever.
You asked her out.
I asked her out. I mean, the girls that I've ever asked out in my life before, say, my wife, I mean, I don't want to say they should be honored because I don't ask girls. I just don't do that. And so
they ask you.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, guys.
It's kind of just works out that somehow we end up awkwardly.
All right. Yep.
I just got. I have no game. I've never had any game.
You've never had any game.
It's like
you needed game for one woman.
I needed game for one woman, and that was it.
And so Matt, he came into town, and then you guys went.
Yeah. So well, look, man, you just fast forwarded that whole thing.
I'm sorry. Go on.
I guess you're in a hurry.
No, I'm not. You said to her, "How about tonight?"
Yeah. So then what happens is I hang up in the master and I'm like, no, we go into this back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. And then so that night, I go and pick her up, and I've got I had bought a brand new BMW when I was in Germany. I didn't own anything, but I was like, let me order I loved BMWs, so I ordered a brand new one and I brought it back. So I'm in Savannah now. I got my BMW there, and so I go, which to me, I think that's what's going to help me, whatever. But so I go pick her up at her house, and it's probably, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and it's still light out. Well, it's in the summertime. And yeah, so I can remember pulling up and getting out and knocking on her door, and she answers, and I'm like, "Oh, hello." And I see her, and I remember the cats are trying to run out, and she's like she turns and she's trying to get them put back inside. But I remember thinking, like, cause she just had she wore this like just t-shirt. She had these super baggy like cargo shorts on. And so she was definitely not too impressed that that I was coming to pick her up.
To dress up for you.
Yeah, she didn't. And she did not dress up. She had like her hair pulled back.
Yeah.
It was just like, she just got done, like, she worked at also at the Savannah Symphony, but she also worked in a doggy daycare because she hadn't started her internship yet. And, so she's just like probably was just shoveling dog poop or something, and then like, hey, I'm going to go out to dinner with this guy. So she didn't dress up at all.
All right.
And so anyways, I pick her up, and so I take her down to Sixpence Pub.
Okay.
So Sixpence Pub, which by the way is also in was it Notting Hill? What's the show with Sandra Bullock and the one guy? He's the British guy.
Yeah.
They filmed their scene. They're dating.
Grant.
Yeah, Hugh Grant is filmed at Sixpence Pub, and there's their date scene or something is in there. And so yeah, we sit. I can remember exactly where we were in Sixpence. As soon as you walk through the front door, right to the right, the very first, they had a round table there at the time. It was kind of round. You could seat 4 by the window. And so that's where we sat. And so we sat there, and we just, ordered food and everything. And I think Sandra was probably like, wait a second, who's this? Like, hey, because I always sit at the bar.
Yeah.
I'm a regular there, right? And here I am. I'm not sitting at the bar. I'm sitting at a table with a young lady. And I didn't know, and so we just had a really nice time. But I do also remember, though, as we're hanging out there, the Lorrie says I false advertised a little bit because I had a hat on. And at the time, I didn't think my hair was receding that bad, but I guess it was receding pretty good.
Okay.
So, but she was laughing at my jokes a little more than probably they should have been.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just telling her like maybe these jokes here. We don't really have jokes. We just have stories. But
yeah.
I remember telling her a story about a mosquito, how a mosquito was in my room the night prior, and how it kept me up all night, torturing me. And at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I had to turn all the lights on, and I was literally hunting my entire room for that one mosquito. And I finally found it because because what you're trying to do is flush it out, right? You're like just swinging things around, trying to see if it'll fly wherever it's landed. And finally, I saw it, and then I gave it the smack, which I don't kill a lot of bugs, but
anyway. And this turned her off.
Well, as we found out, she's an ant. Well, I don't know. Yeah, the mosquito thing, but she loved the story. She laughed, and then I took her back, and she's like, "Oh, hey, you want to hang out some more?" And I was like, "No, I got to go to PT and all that." So we always joke because not that anything would happen, but she invited me to hang out more, and I said, "No, I got to go. I got to get up for PT in the morning." So I dropped her off, and off I went. And then I didn't talk to her for a week.
What's wrong with you?
Well, you didn't have cell phones and texts and all that, and again, I don't have game, and I wasn't like I did like I wasn't like, oh, I should be pursuing.
She probably thought, hey, we had a good time. Why isn't he calling me?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping she was thinking about me. We never really talked about what her thoughts were that week. I'm hoping she thought about me every single day. I don't know. And then a week later, it's about a week, right? The timeline was, and Dan, his good friend, is coming down. He's like, Jerome. They call me Jerome. Jerome, this friend of mine's coming down from when I went to high school with, and he's coming down, and his name is Tom Kelly. So again, very interesting. So Tom was the very first person to like our YouTube podcast.
All right.
And he's like, and so Tom and I become good friends. He's Dan's friends. So I still have this really good friendship with Tom Kelly, and he has a podcast. His name is the Tom Kelly Show, and he's coming down. Dan's like, yeah, he's coming down from Long Island, and he's driving to Florida because he's going to working on becoming a stand-up comic.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, that's super interesting, right? I was like, that's something I would love to do. Not that I don't think I mean, stand-up comedy is super hard. I don't think people realize how hard it is.
So if O'Neill's open mic music doesn't work out, you could try stand-up comedy. I think you're funny.
I don't know if I could. I tried to sign up for, because another friend of mine, we're not close friends. We're friends on Facebook. I've met her a couple times because she took over my company that I commanded in Iraq. Her name is Robin Johnson. I always say that, but she's a public personality. And so, yeah, look up Robin Johnson. She's a comedian now. She was lieutenant colonel in the Army. There's this school that allows people they'll teach you how to become a stand-up comic. So she went to that school, and I think she helped instruct it for a little bit. And then now she tours the country.
Oh, my.
And she calls it the Laugh Brigade, I think, or the Laughter's the Best Medicine Brigade. And it's called Operation like Heal,
yes.
Hilarious. And so she does these comedic stuff. But
back to Lorrie.
Back to Lorrie. So Tom's coming down, and so we're like, oh, let's go out. So there's like 4 or 5 of us guys that are all getting together.
So you called her up again.
So I call her up and I say, hey, Lorrie, a group of us are all going out tonight. Would you like to go with us? And she's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay. So I remember then going, I'm like, I'll pick you up. So I go pick her up, and I remember when she came out, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, she's no longer not dressed. She was in a t-shirt and these baggy cargo shorts before. Now she's in this really pretty sundress. Yeah. It's blue and with little white, I don't know if they were flowers or what they were on them. And then her hair's all done straight, and she just looks beautiful. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, who's this girl? But I just met her, right? Like I only know her from one date, right? So she gets in the car, and we take her and we go to Sixpence. So now we're all at Sixpence. I walk in.
The only place anybody ever goes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it gets the story.
Creative. Okay.
That's for us. So so the guys are already there, and I remember walking in and I'm introducing her, and I remember trying to introduce her, but I'm like, wait, she's not my girlfriend. Like, even though, like, weirdly, all of a sudden I have like an emotional attachment to her.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, this is my friend Lorrie. And so we were there, and I introduced her, and I must remember everyone, because you think you got 5 military officers, well, 4 or 5, and then one future stand-up comic. And now we have me, and then Lorrie, right? And then I'm like, that's not good odds. Well, good odds for her, not good odds for me.
Oh,
right?
Okay, I see.
And I just remember now everybody starts talking to her, and I can tell, like, they're kind of like hitting on this girl, and I'm like thinking, you can't hit on this girl.
I'm the one that brought her.
This is my fiance. That's a movie reference if anybody knows.
Yes.
But the reality is she's not my fiance or anything. But I do remember being like a little jealous.
Okay.
And but yeah, so everybody's talking and so forth. And yeah, we had a really nice night, and we hung out there and laughed. And Tom Kelly, Tom is like, he just he's just a very outgoing, funny. And I'm just thinking, man, my girl, well, it's not my girl. This girl here is going to fall in love with him. I mean, he's got a great story. He's funnier than me. He's telling better stories than all of us. And I'm going to, whatever. But anyways, I take her at the end of the night. I take her back, and yeah, she invites me in. I did go inside, and I remember there was a photo book about Germany. And of course I'd been to Germany. So I was like, oh, for me, I focus on the book and I just start flipping through and I'm showing her the pictures like, oh, I've been there. Oh, that's so awesome. Right. And I'm telling her all that. And then I'm like, well, and I do remember her leaning in just a little bit. Like I do remember that moment where I could see she's sitting closer, but I was like, I'm being a gentleman and everything. And I'm like, hey, it's time for me to go. I need to go to PT in the morning. So
my goodness.
Like, hey,
what signals are you sending here?
Yeah. Right. And then, so then we say goodbye and then it's probably another, I don't know if it's a week later or whatever, but then, Ben's coming. And so Ben's going to fly in like the 28th now. So it's been about 2 weeks. And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to pick up Ben. You want to come with me? And she's like, yeah, sure. Of course. So I go pick her up and then I pick her up and I realize my car is out of gas. And so it's just, I'm telling these stories because this was stuff that we remember so much.
Yes.
We talk about how, because we're laughing. We're like replaying the Seinfeld episode where, he's running on empty forever.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, we're not going to make it. There's no way. Well, fortunately, we coast right into this gas station that's before the airport. And that's where I learned we could get gas after hours, fortunately, because we would have been out. We would have made it. And who knows where the story would have gone.
Yes.
But we were able to just put the card in and pump the gas. And after hours, it was closed and went in. And I do remember, it's probably maybe a little too much detail, but I do remember she was in these really nice pants and she had a little, like one of those, just a tank top on or whatever. And so Ben's coming off the plane and she's standing in front of me. And I just remember I was checking her out, right? I remember looking at like, wow, what a beautiful woman and so forth. But, still nothing. So Ben comes off, big hugs, and really literally like, so from that point for the next 2 weeks, I mean, we're all together the whole time.
Okay.
We wake up, either she'd come over or she even slept on the couch, I think a couple times. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do remember like every day it was her, Ben and I, and we would just go, we went to the nature preserve. We went out to dinner.
Yeah.
We went to the beach. We went to Hilton Head because Hilton Head's not that far. Went to Tybee Island. And so every day we're hanging out and, I was definitely infatuated then, you know what I mean? And and my mind was, I was always, and I had work and stuff.
You could tell she was into you too.
Nope. Zero.
No.
Yeah. No.
No.
Yep. I didn't think, I thought.
You hadn't leaned over and given her a kiss yet?
Nope. Nothing. And I thought, well, it's just one of those things I always felt like, well, I'll get to the point where I like a girl and the girl I like won't like me. You know what I mean? But I was like, and I'd been through a couple hard.
All right, we're not talking about them.
No,
I'm
just
Lorrie.
saying. I'm just saying. Emotionally.
Well, then what changed? How did it change? Get it. Come on now.
Yeah. Well. So basically, what happens is she basically makes a move on me, and
So you had read her wrong the whole time.
Read her wrong the whole time, and
she's waiting for you to make a move, and you're not making it.
Yep.
And she just grabs you and kisses you.
No, nothing like. Well, kind of, sort of, I guess, a little bit. And,
I see.
Yeah, and we always say we have a phrase for it. But anyways, and then I was like, no, she doesn't really like me. And then so like a couple more days go by, and I remember because we're still hanging out. This is towards the end now.
Yeah.
And we're at Pence Pub. This is probably the part that I was like, oh, I guess she really does like me. We're sitting at Pence, and we're at the corner of the bar. And, so there's a lot of our friends there and, the bar's filled. And so in front of everybody, I guess that's the whole point. Like everybody's there. And I remember she had this red sundress on. It was like this maroonish red. I can still picture it. And anyway,
you remember what she wears. I can tell that.
And I remember she reaches over and puts her hand on my leg and holds my hand. And so when she did that like sealed it like, oh, she really does like me. You know what I mean? Like, cause we're in public. Right. And so for there. And,
okay.
And I remember Ben being like, oh, okay, what's going on here? But he was leaving. And so, he left. And basically the truth is from that point on, or literally from that point on, we've been together ever since.
25 years.
25 years. So we met in July, we got engaged in December and married in March. So 9 months.
Who takes credit for this? Any of your friends? Any of them say, yeah, you guys are together because of me?
No, nobody takes credit, but Dan brings up a good point, how Savannah, that era right there. So what happens in that era, right? He sent me this text last night about it. He called it the connectors time. He called it connectors. Was when we were in that period of time, there was just like this group of lifelong friends. Very short, really, if you look back on it, but connectors all the way through. So, I meet Dan, who I'm still friends with. I got a text thread.
Yeah.
Timbo, we're still, friends with. But then I meet Dan's high school friend, Tom Kelly, right? And we're still good friends. I talk to Tom pretty regularly. When I would fly out to New York for Tesla every 2 weeks, I would meet my brother and I would meet Tom. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so Tom and I, built that friendship. And then, of course, the other things that happened there. So in that same time period, Tim meets his current wife. I say current. My wife's like, you can't say current. It makes it sound like we have more than one wife.
Yeah.
But no, his wife, I should say.
Okay.
Tim meets his wife, Kate.
Yeah.
And so, Kate met in that time period. Dan, while we're in Savannah, meets his current wife, Meredith, which I say current again.
Yeah.
And so
then,
it
was a season of people falling in love.
Yeah, and then we have our friend Charlie, and Charlie ends up being Dan's roommate, or technically, Jason. We call him Smoke.
All right.
Smoke becomes friend, who's a lifelong friend who I just visited.
Yes.
Noah, has been to their house and visited them. From Portsmouth, while he's in the Coast Guard, so he goes and visits them.
All right.
But Jason becomes friends with Charlie. And Charlie, I know this sounds crazy, but Charlie then, when he moves to New York City, becomes roommate with Tom Kelly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Tom and there's a whole bunch, Brian Kiss, there's a whole group of people that from that era that we just all, and I know Brian Vogel, I know I'm leaving people out, but there's a whole group of people. We all became friends, and we're still friends to this day, just from that little era. But I think
if you watch the podcast, comment on that. I want to hear more.
Well, I think it's interesting, and we'll get into it, because what happens in the rest of 2001, right? Obviously, we're meeting, we're having friends, but I think with 9/11, which we'll get into the next podcast, solidifies these friendships possibly and other things that happen to where now this day we're still lifelong friends. And
so from that week or two, you were together, getting to know one another. How much longer until you're married? How long did you date? She was working there. She got a turtle job eventually.
Yep. So she gets. So what happens is how the whole thing works then is she gets, that's July. August she moves out to Sapelo Island.
Okay.
So Sapelo Island is
very far away, or
no? It's the next island down from Tybee Island.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have Hilton Head, Tybee, then Sapelo. There might be another island in there. There's like a nanny goat or something. I don't know. My wife she'd probably correct me. She's like, no, that's not right. But there is another island in between there.
Okay.
But it's like the second island down from Tybee. And but it's right there on the Georgia coast. It's a private island, it's an island owned by the state of Georgia.
Okay.
And so
it's a natural preserve of some kind.
There's no road to get out there. There's just, you have to take a ferry. There's a small community that lives out there called Hog Hammock. And Hog Hammock, the people that live there, R.J. Reynolds owned it originally.
Okay.
And so he's got his mansion out there. And the tobacco farmers, the slaves actually, that helped him with tobacco, when it all went away, there's a small community of them, I guess. And then again, I might be messing this up, but they were able to live there, and and it's literally a hammock. It's like this small little town. They have this little general store, at least back then, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like a shack, and you can go in there and buy your milk and eggs and bread. And
so
that's
she lived there.
She lived out there in this, and they had this. It's called the ABAC shack. It's like a half finished home. It looks kind of like it's got some siding on the outside, and it looks like a home. But you walk in, it's mostly just plywood on the inside, and that's where she lived. And she had a 4-wheel and a 4-wheel drive truck. And so every morning her job was to go out and check all the turtle nests, inspect them. She had a log book and GPS, and she would log where they were and write it in there. And she would check the nest, make sure. And if they were getting unprotected, she'd put chicken wire around them and do all that. So I wouldn't see her during the week. But what I could do is on the weekend, she would put a pass in, and I could drive and catch the ferry. And I would go out there on the weekends and spend the whole weekend.
Okay.
And we have no television, so no cell phones really. There's nothing there. It's just us. And when it gets dark, it's dark, right? So we would go to bed, and then we'd get up first sunlight, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and get the 4-wheeler and ride the 4-wheeler out. Wow. And I got to check the nest with her and see the baby sea turtles hatch, and see the alligators, and there's a bunch of cattle out there, and the pigs. Wow. And Yeah, one time we're driving up on the 4-wheeler. It's like we got like it's kind of weird. It looks like jungle on both sides, right? And there's just this like dirt road we're going down. It's got the mud puddles. And as we look, we come around the corner and we can see all the way down this road, and there's just alligators, like 2 or 3 of them, just like boom, 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 and you can see the length of them. Wow. Well, as we come up, they just like scurry off into the thing, but one of them decided to just sit there. So I'm like, let me. This is don't do this kind of stuff. So I get off the 4-wheeler. And I remember, like, I just want to check this thing out. I've never seen an alligator up close. So, and he's probably a good 5 foot. Is probably not huge.
Lorrie telling you this is a bad idea?
I don't remember her saying anything.
Yes,
she's probably thinking, but she's trusting me. Maybe I don't know. She thinks I'm Crocodile Dundee or something. But I walk up and I remember walking just kind of around the one side of him because I'm trying to look at him. But I learned how fast they can move. I mean, he just turned and he took off and just tore through the brush so fast. Like I jumped
away
my heart,
from you,
away from me. But I remember thinking like, oh my goodness, I am so lucky. Like he could have so easily just turned and came at me and probably been on my leg. Now he wasn't an alligator would have killed me unless he had an artery, but he would have definitely caused some damage. But fortunately they're scared of you and he took off and he took off. But yeah, we were out there, got to see all kinds of wildlife.
So
great
then,
times.
How long were you in this where she lived there and you were on at the Fort?
It was a couple
Stewart?
months. It was a couple months and so we won't get into it because she is out there living on the island when 9/11 happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll pick that up.
So we'll definitely pick that up. Yeah.
All right. So what are some major themes in this season of life in these 8 months? What are some themes that you
go through life and you have all these ups and downs, right? This 2001, as much as 9/11 happened, and it's a down for so many, it was such an up year for me.
Yeah. Meeting close friends, meeting Lorrie.
I had gone through some things, in 2000. It was rough. And going into 2001, I had grown a lot too. I didn't talk about like my faith in that year.
Okay.
How I'd started going to church regularly. Just we'd all go out on Saturday night, and Dan and Tim can probably verify that. I would get up Sunday morning and just go to church. I went to Savannah Christian Church, so that was really awesome for that. And then Lorrie and I would get baptized together there actually.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool. But yeah, so I think that was just a lot of growth during that year.
Yes.
The friendships, like I already kind of said that with the connectors, like Dan and Tim and all of us that just
you're gonna need them when the next chapter happens.
Oh yeah, just like in life in general, all the way through. So I think we go through these periods of our life where we have some downs, right, and some low times, but it's always cool, and that's why this episode's so long. Is as I started going through it, this is a period of time where there's so much happened.
Yeah.
And I met so many great people, and there's people I feel bad that I'm probably not even mentioning. I mean, I didn't get to go. I should have talked about Tyke. I mean, Tyke would later be with me in Afghanistan, and to this day, I can call Tyke, and he'll just randomly call me, and we're good friends to this day. And so, there's so many people you meet, and I think it's important that God puts these people in your life, and there's a reason for that.
That's so good. So unpredictable to you, but probably not unpredictable to God.
No, definitely not. And I feel bad. We didn't ask anything.
That's all good.
But we'll definitely in the next episode. I need to hear what was going on for you at 9/11 too. So we'll talk about that. Yeah. But anything big for you at this point though? Anything is there anything?
Oh, major.
Oh, in 2001?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Oh, I think I don't know, but do you want to save that for the next episode, or you want to talk about it a little bit right here?
Well,
give us.
No. I mean, I can hint it just to say that after being an associate pastor for 10 years, I feel like we're supposed to start a new church.
And that was in 2001.
And we started in the fall of 2000. So in January of 2001, I'm still scared to death. Don't know what the heck I'm doing. I've got 100 people with kids, 18 families saying, I believe in you. I believe in God. Let's go. And now I'm leading. And it's not like leading a military, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And here we are. And we found a school that would let us meet in the school. And we're setting up and tearing down. and I am.
And that's all in 01.
That's all. I mean, we're right in the
Yeah, we
very
just
beginning
I should know
stages.
this because we just celebrated the 25th anniversary.
Yes, yes.
And so we've got to talk about that the next episode.
Okay, we will.
Absolutely.
All right.
So that's a while though. 2001, such big years for us.
Yes.
So,
But
anyways,
For
I think
now,
we're wrapping up here a little bit.
That's
We're
right.
we're pretty close. So
Yeah. Thanks for telling those stories. Wow.
sorry I hogged it. I always
No. It's great. It's great. And it again, unpredictable to you, but not to God.
not at all.
All
All right.
right.
Well, hey, thanks and stay unpredictable.